Hello children. In the last video we have seen about what is meant by habitat, isn't it? So are you remembering? Habitat means it is the immediate natural surrounding in which a plant or an animal lives. Yes. So it is the surrounding in which a plant or animal lives. Yes. So in this video let us see about kinds of habitat. So habitat, we can classify it into two types. They are terrestrial habitats and aquatic habitats. Okay, so in terrestrial habitats it includes deserts, mountains, grasslands. Okay, so desert, mountains, grasslands are called as terrestrial habitats, and oceans, ponds are called as aquatic habitats. Understood children? So habitats we can classify it into two types. What are they? Terrestrial habitats, aquatic habitats. So terrestrial habitats are deserts, mountains, grasslands. Aquatic habitats are oceans and ponds. Okay, let us see briefly about the kinds of habitat. First, let's see about terrestrial habitats. So, what is meant by terrestrial? The word terrestrial means it's related to ground. Okay, so the word terrestrial means related to ground. Okay, so the animals they can survive on the land. Okay, terrestrial means it's a land where the animals can survive. Okay, so such habitat is called what? Terrestrial habitat. So all habitats which is present on the land, forest, grasslands, desert, mountains are examples of terrestrial habitats. Okay, so what are the examples of terrestrial habitats? Land, forest, grasslands, desert, mountains. Okay, so terrestrial means it's related to ground, and the habitats, terrestrial habitats are land, forest, grassland, desert, mountains. Now animals like cow, lion and deer that live on land, they are called as terrestrial animals. So the animals which is living on terrestrial habitats are called as terrestrial animals, such as cow, lion and deer. Okay, so these animals they are living on land. Yes? So those animals which live on land are called as terrestrial animals. Understood children? Now let's see about deserts. What are the characteristic feature of desert? So you know the climate in desert is hot and dry. Okay, so how the climate will be in the desert? It is hot and dry. And shortage of water. So we can, in desert there will be a shortage of water, and very hot during the day and cold at night. Okay, so in desert during the daytime it's very hot, and during the night time it's so cold. And the animals and plants which live in the desert, they have special features which enable them to survive in desert. Okay, so all the animals and plants cannot survive. Only the some animals which have special features they can survive in desert. Okay, let's see some examples of animals which can survive in desert. What are the special features of these animals which enable them to survive in desert? Okay children, so first we have seen the climate of the desert is very hot and dry, and there is a shortage of water, and during the day it's very hot in desert, and during night it's so cold. And the animals and plants they have special features which survive in desert, which help them to survive in the desert. Okay, now let's see about camels. First, camel is an animal which survive in desert. So it has certain features which enable it to survive in the desert. So what are the features? Let's see. So camels have a long legs to keep the body away from the hot sand. Okay, so camels, they have a long legs. Okay, you can see in the picture, this the camel. Yes, so it has a long legs which keep the body away from the hot sand. Okay, and it has the legs it has a broad padded feet which helps them to walk on the sand without sinking into it. So usually when we are walking in the sand, you can understand that we cannot walk properly. Yes, our legs will be sinking, so we cannot walk properly. Yes, but this camel, it has a broad padded feet which help them to walk on the sand without sinking into it. Okay, they have a broad padded feet which help them to walk on the sand. Then they can drink a lot of water at a time, store, and they can store in their stomach. So at a time they can drink a lot of water. So whether we can drink a water at a time, a lot of water at a time? No. Yes. So only 1 glass or 2 glass we used to drink. Yes, but the camel can drink a lot of water at a time. Okay, at a time only it can drink a lot of water, and what it will do, it will store water in their stomach. And the camel, for this camel, do not sweat. Okay, their body do not sweat, and they excrete very little urine. Okay, so they will drink lot of water, but they will excrete very little urine. So if we drink lot of water, there will be excretion of large amount of urine, isn't it? But for camel, it will drink a lot of water and it will store it in their stomach for further use, and it will excrete very little urine. So they store at in the hump. So in the hump, that means this is the hump part of the camel. So where they will store their food. Okay, so this hump will act as a food reserve. Okay, so this hump will act as a food reserve. Food reserve means where the food get stored. Okay, so reserve means where the food gets stored. So the camel will store food in the hump, which will act as a food reserve. Then these camels, they have long eyelashes which protect their eyes from sand. You know, in desert there will be a heavy wind. Yes, during wind, as the camel, they have a long eyelashes which will protect their eyes from sand. Understood, children? So these camels, they have a long eyelashes which protect their eyes from sand. Then they can keep their nostrils closed to keep sand and dust out. Okay, so their nostrils, so we know in our nostrils are always kept open. Yes, so to end for allowing the entry of air, our nostrils are always kept open. Yes, but for camels, their nostrils, they can close it. Okay, so when they will close, to keep the sand and dust out, so to remove the sand and dust out, they will keep their nostrils closed. Then other animals found in the desert are rats and snakes. So these rats and snakes, they will stay in burrows during the day to keep away from the intense heat. You know, during the daytime, desert will be very hot. Yes, so these rats and snakes, they will be stay in burrows during the daytime to keep away from the intense heat, and they will come out during the night when it is cooler. So you know, during the night the climate of desert is cool. Yes, so during the cold night they will come out, okay, for their food. Okay, so this is about the animals which survive, the special features of the animals which survive in the desert. Okay, so what are the animals we learned, children? Camel, rat and snakes. Now let's see the desert plants. Okay, so some plants can survive in desert. What are they? First plant is cactus. So here you can see the picture of cactus. Their leaves are reduced to spines. So here you can see in this picture, these plants, they do not have a leaves. Yes? So these leaves of these plants is reduced to spines or thorns. Okay, so that they can reduce the loss of water. So in desert there is shortage of water. So here the plants of desert, their leaves are reduced to spines, which will reduce the loss of water. Their stems are green and fleshy. Okay, so their stems are green, fleshy, so that photosynthesis will take place in the stem. Okay, so as their leaves are reduced to spines, they cannot do the photosynthesis in leaves. Normally, you know, plants will do photosynthesis in their leaf. Yes? So leaf is called as kitchen of plant. You have already learned in first lesson, isn't it, children? So here the leaves in cactus or leaves in desert plants are reduced to spines. So their stems are green and fleshy, so that photosynthesis, where it will take place in the desert plant, in the stem part. Okay, as their leaves are reduced to spines, their photosynthesis process they will do in their stem. The stem of cactus is covered by a waxy substance which reduces the stem of cactus is covered by a waxy substance which reduces the loss of water. Okay, so the stem of cactus is also covered by what? Waxy substance, which will also further reduce the loss of water. No, the plant that retain water inside their body are known as succulent plant. Okay, so the some plants, they can store the water inside their body. They are called as succulent plants. Okay, the roots are long and reach deep into the soil to absorb water. Okay, so these plants are called the succulent plants. These plants, their roots are very long and it will reach deep into the soil to absorb water. Okay, so these plants can retain water inside their body. So they are called as what? Succulent plants. Now about next terrestrial habitat, that is mountains. Mountains is very cold and windy. So the climate of mountain is very cold and windy. It often snows on the mountains. So there will be a snowfall on the mountains, and this makes it difficult for plants and animals to survive there. Okay. So as the climate is cold and windy and there will be often snowfall on the mountain, which make the plants and all the which make it's difficult for all the plants and animals to survive in the mountain. So some animals, they have special feature which enable them to survive in the mountains are yak, snow leopard and mountain goats. Okay, so what are the animals that found on the mountains? Yak, so snow leopard and mountain goats. So let's see the character features of these animals. First one is yak. So have you seen this picture? Yak. Yes. So in this picture you can see yak. So this yak, they have a thick layer of fur. So in the picture itself you can understand there is a thick layer of fur on their bodies and their feet. Okay, so their feet and body contains thick layer which will protect them from cold. They use their hooves and claws to break. So here you can see they have a hooves and claws which will help them to break the ice to grass on the grass below. Okay, so they will break the ice which is on the grass. Okay, which is above the grass. The ice which above the grass will be break by their hooves and claws. Now about polar bear. So polar bear is the animal which can survive on the mountain. Yes. So they have thick white fur which keep it warm. So in the cold climate of mountain, polar bear have thick white fur which keeps it warm. Its white fur merged with the snow. Okay, so the snow color is white. Yes, so the white color of the fur, it will be merges with the snow. This camouflaging, that means if the polar bear is in the snow, we cannot identify because the white fur merges with the snow. It is called camouflaging, which help. Camouflaging means the merging of their body color with their surrounding. Okay, that is called camouflaging. So here polar bear white fur merges with the snow, which helps the polar bear to protect themselves from hunters and other animals. So the other animals which come to hunt this polar bear, they cannot identify the polar bear because the white fur of polar bear will merges with the snow, so that they can protect themselves from hunters and other animals. Now, the polar bear contain a layer of fat called blubber, which is present under their skin, which this blubber will keeps them warm. Okay, so the layer of fat called blubber present under their skin keeps them warm. And their padded feet, they have a padded feet which help them to walk on the snow. Now let's see about plants found in mountains. Okay, so some certain plants can grow in mountain. They have special features which enable them to survive in mountains. So what are they? Pines. These plants found in mountains contain pines, that is needle like leaves. See here in the picture you can see the needle like leaves which will conserve water, which will store water. They have a waxy coating on their surface. So this needle shape, it has a waxing coat on their surface which will reduce the water loss by transpiration. So what is meant by transpiration? Excess water will be removed from the plant after photosynthesis, isn't it, children? So these plants which present in mountain, they have a waxy coating which reduces the water loss by transpiration. Then the trees in the mountains are cone shape with sloping branches. Okay, so the trees in the mountains, they have what? They are cone shaped with the sloping branches which enables the rainwater and snow falling on them to slide off easily. Okay, as they have a cone shape with the sloping branches, the snow or the rainwater which falls on them will be slide off easily. So I hope that you have understand about the special features of animals and plants which survive in terrestrial habitat such as desert and mountains. So in the next video we can continue this part of lesson. If you have any doubt, you can ask children. Thank you.